They say it's all in my head, I still feel the pain. Every time it's cold and every time it rain, feel like ice water running through my veins. Since the day I got hit, I ain't been the same. See my dog die, they blew out his brains all on the window, feel like window pane. Had to suck it up and told it to the game. Glizzy on my hip, I'm standing on my name. I'm a soul.
What it do, people? You hear me? Back at y'all with another Lots, you hear me? Life out the streets, if y'all ain't know what that meant. Anybody that's new to the channel, you hear me? So, matter of fact, this right here for anybody that's new to the channel. Y'all know on this channel I do the Lots, that's Life Out the Streets, episodes that's telling y'all bits and pieces of my life before I want to see, like I gave up the street life or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I give y'all Let's Talk, where we talk about different subjects, you dig, that I feel we need to talk about. And I done brought the other one, Real Rapper All Cap, you heard me? And Real Rapper All Cap will be on this channel and on Nola Culture 504 Part 2 channel, you dig? I decided I'm going to put them on both channels, you heard me? Because I feel like they'll give the artists that I'm covering more exposure if I put them on both platforms, you heard me? But anyway, tonight I'm giving y'all another Lots. And this one here is about Baby Ross, you hear me? Now, for all y'all people that love to play the comment section warriors, you hear me? I know they got two Baby Rosses, you hear me? But this Baby Ross that I'm talking about is deceased, and he is the little brother of nigga Devin. This dude Devin, I went to school with him. He played on the West Jefferson football team for the Buccaneers, you hear me? But right now, tonight, I'm speaking about his little brother, Baby Ross, you hear me? One of his little brothers, you hear me? So, this here story take place out there in Mishu, in Gulfway, you hear me? They don't call it Gulfway no more. I think they call it Chateau Orleans, something like that. I know they changed the name. But anybody that was back there before, like during the 90s and 2000s and all that, y'all know that as Gulfway Terrace, Gulfway, you hear me? They call that G-Way or whatever, Gulfway, G-Way, you know what I'm saying? And that was kind of like you damn near call that bitch a project in the East, you hear me? It was like a little project out there in Mishu, all the way at the back of Chef, you hear me? Before you get to Nothing Land, you dig? And right before it was like a Chinatown or something, you dig? Like Little Vietnam or something, nothing but gooks and all that. No disrespect when I say gooks, you hear me? But you know that's what they call them, or whatever. Man, so I gotta tell y'all about that time when that boy Flame got shot in his ass by the gook. You thought them China boys was something to play with, you hear me? Them Chinese boys said they wasn't nothing to play with. But tonight, anyway, let me get back on track. Talking about Baby Ross, you hear me? Rest in peace, Baby Ross. So the night at the day in hand, you hear me? It was over some Zambars and it was over some Zambars and it was over some Zambars and something else, you hear me? It was over some Zambars and something else. But we had a dude, and he was you know doing business with Baby Ross. Baby Ross, so he can get him the Zambars and whatever else, you hear me? And he was like, in his mind, he gonna play dude or whatever, you hear me? And so they did their little transaction or whatever, and he ended up playing dude. So by the time dude found out that he got burnt, he like, you dig, where this nigga at, he knew where to be found. So he was looking for Baby Ross or whatever. And so now Baby Ross, now he a big dude, like, you hear me? Like he bigger than some of his big brothers, you hear me? Like he a real big dude, but he really a big kid, you hear me? Big old youngster. And so when he heard that dude was looking for him, he looking for dude or whatever, you hear me? And I remember we was on cause we was on the other side of the driveway, like going towards the front, you hear me? We were going like towards the front, and I remember he had came out. I forgot where he come from, but he had came out and he hollered at us. And nigga, who that was? I don't want to lie on the dude. I think that was Mel. So one of them, I ain't gonna say it was Mel, but it was one of the niggas there told him, yeah, you know, dude looking for you or whatever like that. So he like, what? You heard me? I think he had that 357 on him. Either he had a 357 on him or dude had a 357 on him. One of them had a 357 that day. I remember that. One of them had a 357. Matter of fact, I think that was David Ross with a 357 on him. You heard me? But so he like, what? He looking for me. So he shoot down there to the other end of the driveway, like he looking for dude or whatever. You hear me? And so when he get down there, he see dude, and so they exchange their little words or whatever. And so I think he pull out. When he pull out, they go to running around his van. They running around the van. You heard me? And the dude trying to up his shit. So as they running around the van, now he shooting at that boy. Bah! Nigga hearing the shot, nigga like, Lord, this nigga was serious. Like, Lord have mercy. This bitch crazy, you hear me? Like, we all on the other end of the driveway though. So that's when you hear that bitch. She had to be like, bah! Like, you hear me? Like, you know the difference between the 357 and I forgot who had the 9 or 4 or whatever. I really want to say dude had the 357 though. It's kind of hard for me to remember because, I mean, I wasn't right there, but I was on the other end of the driveway, you hear me? And we just hearing the shots, but you can hear the difference. And that's why I want to say dude had that 357 though, you hear me? I think dude had that 357. Because when you listening to the shot, you're like, oh, he letting that bitch off or whatever. And we laughing because they running around the van. It's funny, like, it's funny because how they running around the van. It's like, man, these bitches ain't serious, you hear me? But they were serious, dude. So they running around the van or whatever. You hear them bitch, bah, bah, bah. And that's when you start hitting, yeah. So I think dude had that 357. Because you hearing that bitch, bah, 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 bah. And that's when you hear that, boom, boom. You heard me? And when them loud shots with it going off, you heard me? That's when it kind of all just stopped. And dude had them ran off, and he tried to jump a gate. It's like they had this gate all the way in the back on like when you going to the other side, like when you going away from the city. You heard me? And he was jumping this gate or whatever like that. You heard me? And Baby Ross was on the ground. And so, you know, everybody go to going down there now or whatever. The gun in his hand. And he had to get shot in his back. You hear me? Because you ain't even see those. You ain't see the shots from the front. Like I said, he was a big dude. So nigga like, what the fuck? You hear me? And but when they like picked him up, flip him over and shit, that's when you saw he was shot. You hear me? Like, damn, you did. Ambulance come back there. Well, before the ambulance come back there, the motherfucker was like trying to, you know, everybody like running around, like, you know, it's like it's a panic move, pandemonium and shit. Motherfucker like take him to the hospital in the car and all that. And I can vividly remember a nigga saying, man, I'm not putting him in my car. You got blood all over my car. And nigga like, man, you worry about blood being in your car, the nigga gonna die or whatever. And the nigga was like, man, it's too late anyway. You hear me? Like, I was like, wow. You hear me? But I was young. I had to be like, damn, cause I know I was in my teens though. You hear me? I was in my teens during that. I was young though. But I remember that shit and I was like, wow, that's crazy. And that was one of the things that made me be like, that's why I ain't really cool, like tight with niggas like that, cause that's how a nigga will do you. You're a nigga be in your face like it's all cool and it's gang, listen, we all a family. And then it's like, man, I ain't putting that nigga in my car, so my car got blood all in it and all that, you hear me? But yeah, Baby Ross died right there on the side of that van, you hear me? Police and ambulance and shit come out, you dig? And He died though. He died on that scene right there. You heard me? And it wasn't a lot of money that he played dude out of, but you know, sometimes some situations it don't be the money, it be the principle. You hear me? Like if I let you jag me and I don't do nothing, I might well just get ready to start handing shit out, or I might well give it up. Cause now the people who know that you got jagged, they gonna be at your top. You hear me? They playing on you for the, you know what I'm saying? So it's like sometimes it don't be about the money, it be the principle. You hear me? And in that situation, like I said, it wasn't a lot of money, so I think it was just the principle that I can't let this dude do me like this. You hear me? And like I said, he was a big kid, so I really feel like if he was more mature, he wouldn't have died like that. You hear me? Because he would have, you know, done better business, and because all he had to do was give dude his money back. You hear me? But Baby Ross was on some shit like I see he was a big kid, and he wanted to prove himself gangster so much. You hear me? Like I remember when I first seen him back there, I didn't know why the fuck he was even back there. You hear me? Cause like I see his family stay on the West Bank or whatever. But yeah, he died right there in that driveway on side that van. You hear me? And I remember they were putting little teddy bears and the candles out for him, for the little visual form or whatever like that. You hear me? And I was just like, damn, that was a shame for the dude to lose his life like that over something that was so petty. You hear me? But like I said, it might be petty to a person outside looking in, but for the person that it's happening to, this ain't petty at all. This nigga that took my shit, and now you trying to come at me? You hear me? And like I don't remember what happened with that situation. I knew dude that got caught up or whatever, but I don't remember how the situation went. If he had was able to get a self-defense or a manslaughter or whatever. But yeah, man, that's what happened with that Baby Ross that was in G-Way. You hear me? When Baby Ross got killed in G-Way. You hear me? I was right there on the other side of the driveway. You hear me? Me and a couple other niggas. I know Flame Mel. I think West was out there too. I can't remember if West was out there. But I mean, a lot of people was out there. You hear me? A lot of people was out there. A lot of people saw that dude die that day. You hear me? And like where I'm at now in my life, it kind of make me be like, damn. You know, you kind of be wishing like you had you kind of wish that you have the wisdom back then that you have now. And it's like maybe you could have prevented that shit from happening. Like, man, chill out, don't do that dude like that, brother. You need to go get that man that money, make that right, son. You tripping, you hear me? You was wrong, you know. But you know, life is life, and you can't rewind the hands of time. So you dig, it is what it is. But I say this for people to learn from these situations. Like I tell y'all, learn from these situations, bro. Y'all like stop trying to play people and shit. So they got some niggas out here, dog, that y'all are play on and shit. And it's really like you really could have just asked the nigga. You hear me? You heard that bad, you could have just asked somebody, son. Instead of putting your life in jeopardy for that little bit of change. You hear me? Like for real. Like at the end of the day, sometimes it ain't worth it. You hear me? But who am I to say that? Because I done put my life in jeopardy a lot of times to get by. You hear me? So I mean, it is what it is, and it's like, you know, niggas living how they living. But how I tell my children, man, you really could do whatever you want in life. Really, you can do whatever you want. And I'm talking about whatever you want. If you want to slap people, that's what you want to do it. But understand that they got consequences that come behind that. You could lose your life, you could get your ass beat, or whatever. And if you ready to take them consequences and don't cry about it, then my nigga, do whatever you want. You hear me? Do whatever you want. Cause that was my thing. Like, I'ma do what I want. But when the consequences come, I ain't crying about it. You hear me? I'm not crying about it. I wasn't crying when I went to jail. I wasn't crying when I got shot at and all that shit like that. I did what I did, and that's what it is. You hear me? So if you can stand on that and be ready to accept the consequences that come your way for the actions that you do, then hey, Do what you want, you hear me? But I'm trying to tell you, man, sometimes it ain't worth it. You hear me? For real. Sometimes it's just not worth it. For real. Live to see another day, baby. Live to see another day. I'm out, man. Culture.
We don't speak for years, just know one thing. I'ma still ride. Eyes in the sky, they watching me, want me to slip up. I might fall back, but I never give up. I want the fringes like a Aretha. Slice it with my niggas like some pizza, 10 kills.